everyone. This is Dee from CatalystEnergies. Thank you for joining me. I'm so grateful that you're here. This is your daily Catalyst astrological report for January 16th, 2020. It keeps being weird still to say 2020. I'm sure I will get used to it at some point. As I am recording this video, I'm actually recording it on the 15th, the night of the 15th Pacific Standard Time, and this is the chart of that moment. And so our moon, she's still in Libra here, and within the next hour or so, she's going to square both the North Node and the South Node that's just behind Jupiter here. And this is a good harbinger in some ways of how the 16th is really going to feel, because the moon is really making a lot of challenging aspects throughout the day while she's in Libra. She's going to be basically squaring all of the Capricorn energy at this point, other than the sun, which will happen on Friday, which will be another report. But it feels to me that the moon is really starting to get a little worn out with this consistent challenge to opposing forces, especially here with the North and the South Node. These two energies have really consistently been pulling us in two directions now for a while, which is what the South Node and the North Node, that's what they do collectively. It's all about balancing the polarity between these two points of where we're coming from and what we need to let go of and where we're headed. And it's definitely pulling us into, are we nurturing and being supportive, or are we being very serious and business minded and taking care of things? And it's been back and forth energy. And the moon is just like, can't we just all get along? Can we just balance this out, please? That's what the scales are for. I can find the balance. I can help do that. The moon is really drawing us to do that. And so with the square to the nodes coming real soon, it's definitely going to give a good sense of the challenges within the next day, where we are really just feeling such a need to find some sort of like middle ground or balance, and being consistently challenged along the way by especially the Capricorn energy with Jupiter and Pluto and Saturn tomorrow on the 16th. The moon's really going to want to just have everybody get along, and very serious Capricorn is going to consistently draw us back to the reality of having to sometimes not necessarily work towards making sure everybody's happy when you're on a mission to create something. And certainly Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto all in Capricorn, along with the sun, is definitely on a mission. We do have Mercury. So this is right now, it's still the evening of the 15th. The one nice thing about the moon is that she does also come into a sextile right after this with Mars in Sagittarius. And I think that Mars is really kind of showing the moon in this instance, like, come on with me. I'm on the quest to get the ultimate truth of all of it, where everything is balanced, and he has got a lot of energy and is definitely willing to have the moon come along and show the way of what the truth is, the ultimate truth is, and belief system that Mars is operating under, to show the moon in Libra where she can find some balance. So that's a nice way to top off the evening as we go to sleep, or potentially even waking up so early in the morning if you are in Europe. But on the 16th, which is where we're going to focus next here, clear that and close that out. It just feels like still that we're in this very strange wormhole, and I've just been uploading these videos for each of the signs for what's going on beyond this great conjunction. It is fascinating. I have to tell you that the information coming out is just absolutely fascinating as far as I'm concerned. So I would really recommend you go and check those out for your sun, moon, and rising sign, because there's a lot of information there. And the Akashic readings are pretty on point as far as I can tell. So this is for 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for January 16th. All right, and so at this point, the moon is still in Libra, like right in the middle of Libra now. So squaring soon after that, well, actually much earlier than this, squaring Jupiter. She's already squared the south node, and then later in the day, squaring this energy of Saturn and Pluto, very close to where it conjuncted. This is definitely a reminder about how this transformative change may be impacting our feelings towards wanting to please people and for things to be balanced and for everybody to get along, because this might not be everybody getting along, whatever's been changing for us. So that that instinctual kind of drive to have some balance is definitely going to be challenged by the reality of Saturn and Pluto, and also Jupiter, and also the South Node. Now, Mercury is actually going to move into Aquarius today on the 16th, and this is going to make him very happy. His tone has been very serious, but it's been very rooted in materialism and taking care of business, and it's all about the long-term strategy. Moving into Aquarius, into an earth or an air sign for Mercury, is definitely going to send him flying, as far as I can tell. The information coming in is going to be very quick. It's going to be very clear, and there's going to be potentially a lot of really good insights on how to move forward from the Saturn and Pluto conjunction for all of us, really, and a desire to have some sort of liberation in terms of our thinking, and to think, to have the energy, the mental energy, kind of move beyond what the normal capacity is, you know, kind of like shift a frequency in some ways, you know, look at things from a different and higher perspective in Aquarius, more about the collective, more about that cosmic consciousness. That's going to be a nice change of pace for Mercury. However, the moon, again, is going to be making challenging aspects to Venus and Black Moon Lilith, and also Neptune and Pisces, either a quincunx or some sort of sesquisquare. Either way, it's going to be energy where what's going on in Pisces of dissolving the edges and dissolving the boundaries and dissolving the polarity in order to really feel this unification and this love with everyone. That's really great, but you can see where the tension is with the moon in Libra, because there is the implicit idea with Libra that there is a polarity to be balanced, and the moon is recognizing that and wanting to and feeling driven to balance that, whereas these energies, especially Neptune for a long time, is like, there is no polarity, we all are one, let's all love each other. And that necessarily doesn't keep everybody happy either, or pleasing everyone, because at that point some people's needs are not being addressed when it's all dissolved into this Pisces stuff. Let's see here, and then the moon then moves on to square, like I said, the Saturn and Pluto energy. So the shifts that came about with that conjunction, and as well as the deeper dive into the Pisces energy with Venus there, is certainly challenging our drive to make sure that everything looks really nice and neat and balanced. It could be a little messy, could overflow a little bit, you know, it's not, it could be from some flooding in some ways with all this water energy here. But ultimately, I would say that with Mercury moving into Aquarius, there is a freedom of idea and an allowance to kind of think outside the box about things a little bit. And even though the moon is in an air sign, it's certainly restricted in some ways to thinking about things from a polarity perspective. And Mercury really kind of shoots beyond that and is looking beyond duality into a much more unified way of looking at reality, and especially with, again, with the Neptune and the Venus Pisces energy also dissolving everything into one amorphous kind of medium that we're all interacting with. There, it's tense here, but remember that the moon is going to move into Scorpio, into a water sign soon, and will be much more interested in taking a deep dive as opposed to making sure everything looks fair and balanced. So that's your daily catalyst for the 16th of January, 2020. There's hope in our need to feel balanced relationships. I think that's coming with Mars specifically in Sagittarius. It's been troubling, and in some ways we might want to dissolve into this space and not really consider the fact that there has to be duality that needs to be dealt with. And that's kind of the downside or the distraction of Pisces right now, is getting lost in that space. And so the moon will kind of pull us back into a need to have balance. So it's what it seems like it's all about these days, is just finding a balance constantly, just constantly finding a balance. Anyway, I really appreciate you watching this video, listening to this video. If you're on YouTube or if you are watching it on Facebook, feel free to reach out to me via email. You can book services through my Facebook page directly. You can book online, and I have a variety of services that accommodate a variety of financial situations. And I look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Please, until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Oh, see ya.